Well, good afternoon, everyone, from sunny Cows. Well, sort of sunny anyway. It's a lot warmer. There was a bit of a standing joke going around the last 24 hours before Penjuic arrived that we had to chill the champagne. And I went to put it in the fridge sometime before, and I thought, hang on a minute, it's cooler outside. So we left the champagne sitting on the doorstep of the little house we've got here to cool the champagne down. It was quite cool. So Marie got chilled champagne just from sitting outside. And then the team and everyone was working, doing all the bits after Penjuic arrived, which was fantastic. Do the press release, do the photo gallery. I was doing that. Jane was doing putting the press release into the website and into the bits and pieces. And so Jane got down about 5 o'clock this morning to get going, get some sleep. And I got out. I managed to get out earlier than that. And so everyone's busy, and wake up this morning to go down to the yacht club for a meeting at 9 o'clock or something, and open the door, and it's really quite mild outside. I won't call it warm, but it changed dramatically. So weather's on the up here. So let's hope when L'Esprit de Keep arrives, it'll be beautiful sunshine, blue sky, all that stuff. In fact, we walked out last night at sort of like, I don't know, late 11 o'clock or something, and there's stars in the sky, and we could see across the silent to the other side of the light. So we're very lucky. When Penjuic arrived, it was nighttime, but it was very relatively mild. There was good visibility and so on. So it was quite a buzz night. It was good fun, and they're all very excited about what's going on. And there's some more breaking news happening in the background I'll talk about in a minute, but very happy to be in. Marie has achieved something that she had hoped to do. As far as she's concerned, she's the first boat home, real time on the water, which is quite right. If you add up the numbers and stuff, Penjuic is the one that's here as line on us for leg 4, but also line on us if we had that situation for the OGR, then she'd be looking good. We've actually decided to focus entirely on the IRC situation. That'll be the IRC winner will be the real winner of the OGR, which gives everyone a chance. So that's what happens. But all accolades to Marie, her crew, which goes beyond the crew she had on the boat last night. This is about 25 or something in total that she's had on board during the 4 legs. And then her team, she's got a manager, she's sponsored and stuff, but she doesn't have a huge budget, so they don't have a huge team like you see in the Mochas and Vendée Globe and things like that. She's got a cool little team there, and a whole heap of supporters all over the place that have been, pushing her on and doing all those different things. So it's a big success for them all to see her come home with line on as NIRC in League 4, as well as everything else that's been going on. Bearing in mind all the challenges she had, she achieved that, and her overall result, with lots of little issues on the way around the world. So it's quite fantastic. And then, of course, to have the connection with her father, Eric Tavali, and his history in the Whitbreads and so on, it's really quite pleasing for everyone to see a direct connection back to the Whitbread with the first boat home, So it couldn't be better. And talking with Barry Pickthall, who's Mr. Whitbread, he was involved with all of the Whitbreads and the Volvos, bits and pieces going right back. And there is a real sense, a real feeling that we've achieved one of the objectives of the OGR, which was to bring back the golden era of that style of racing, when you're racing around the world, quite competitive, a serious challenge, but you're still having roast dinners cooked in the oven in the Southern Ocean, and all the social and human aspects that brings in, which you don't necessarily see in, the fully professional events. Now, that's not a problem. I love watching, the Vendée Globe. I love watching the ocean race. I love watching all the Clipper race, all those sorts of things. They're all good fun. There's something for everyone. So it's not saying we've got something that is the best and the biggest and things like that. It's just something that we've got that's very special. And I think that really worked. And it's starting to sink into people that anyone can do this race if you want to, put a boat together, get a group of people together and come out and do it. And we're already, we've launched the 2027 Ocean Globe race, and we're getting feedback already and people looking and talking boats and all that. So it's a bit, I won't call it chaotic here at the moment, but there's a lot going on. So it's quite cool. And I've got to say thanks to the Island Yacht Club here as well for hosting us. Thanks to the squadron for, managing the line for us and all that sort of stuff. it was bad, too bad luck. We couldn't have a cannon for the finish of Penjuic, but we can only use the cannon in daylight hours, of course, so for lots of different reasons. And anyway, it was good to see them back across the line safely. And then the current, of course, if you haven't seen the live, the current it's amazing. The timing was impeccable. They had a big kick current pushing them up towards the Isle of Wight, a couple of knots at different times, 2.5 knots. They came into the Salent and heading up towards the finish line, and it's still running a little bit of a current there, pushing them through. They crossed the finish line, and then by the time they got this, and it was pretty much slack water at that stage as they're dropping their sails, and by the time they got to the dock, it's coming through at about 2.5, 3 knots, underneath the pontoon and cutting across at an angle. So it was quite a challenge for Marie to try and get the boat in, but she did it really well in the end and secure there. And everyone's welcome to come down and have a look. In fact, there are people coming across all the time now. It's a good band of people down there looking at the boat, and there'll be more boats in later on. So all is good on that department. That's probably all I need to say about that. We can get straight into the track and we'll talk about the current situation. And there's lots of interesting things going on at the moment with the tracker, or with the boats out on the water. So now I've got to press this one here, and we should go to. I've got Windy up there in case we need it as well. So you're looking at the tracker, and now I'm coming across and looking at the tracker. So here we go. Penjuic's in, then it's L'Esprit de Keep, Spirit of Helsinki, Neptune, Maiden, and so it goes down the line. Now, the scenario is we thought up until yesterday that Penjuic may have had an in with possible IRC overall, because we thought that Helsinki and Maiden and the others that were in that group might slow down. They haven't slowed down. So already, bearing in mind we're looking forward to seeing L'Esprit de Keep arrive, but already now Helsinki has jumped over the top of Penjuic. So Helsinki staring down the barrel at trying to grab outright or overall IRC ranking for the whole race, followed closely behind by Maiden. So a lot's going to depend on what happens with their performance as they close the finish line. So that's something that we will get into towards the end of this. Now, good to see Evrika's all, of course. I don't know what was going on there, but we'll start down the back here, and I'm too scared to look at the numbers. That's good. 6.2. When I said that, because for the previous 4 hours before this 4 hours, Explorer was doing 2.3 knots, and I'm trying to think what on earth is going on there. We're checking tweets, haven't heard anything, but for that 4-hour period, their average speed was 2.3 knots, and I've got no idea what happened on board, but something must have happened because they've had a good solid breeze, and now you can see here even they're still not pointing high. They've got the wind at only about 70 degrees apparent, which is pretty close to reaching, and it's quite a nice breeze, 15 to 20 knots maybe, and that sort of speed, 6.2 knots, is what they should have. So maybe that story will come out later in a tweet as to what's going on. In the meantime, they're getting the bad deal with the weather. This is a classic nor'easter, and they can't hold high, so they're heading out to Canada. Anyway, they managed only 69-mile day, and they'll get here eventually. Sterner now still doing 5.9 knots, 93-mile day, right next to a no-wind zone that may come over them. White Shadow, 4.2 knots. They'd be a bit grumbly. They wouldn't be happy with the way this leg has turned out for them. It's been a slow slog. Hadn't had much of a break with the weather, as has a few of the boats. It's been pretty challenging. Anyway, 4.2 knots, 86-mile day. Now, here's the bad news for Triana, 3.4 knots. It's all over for them. Whilst they were looking very cool about the idea of taking out IRC overall for the whole race, over all 4 legs, now this has just been a disaster for them. They're not going to get close on that. Or they might get close, but they're certainly not going to win it. They can't afford to be sitting here doing nothing like is actually happening. So a 52-mile day, that's just, oh boy, the crew are going to be so disappointed, and that's an understatement. Then Galliana with Secure, pretty much the same thing. I mean, how do you explain this to the people back home when you're doing 1.5 knots and you've still got 1,300 miles to go? and they've been performing and working their butts off all the way around the world, and this looks like the big disaster setting in. They're going to lose out a lot of brownie points. That's pulling them down the rankings very quickly. So a 40-mile day, and there's not much you can do about that. They're getting good weather reports, so it's not a tactical thing. You can call it bad luck, you can call it what you like, but it's yacht racing, and it's how it happens. You have a situation where you've got to live with what you've got, and during the course of an around the world race where you're actually traveling a long distance, it's going to be winners and losers everywhere, but also big challenges. And this has nothing to do with we can't race properly because we're not getting weather forecasting. They're actually getting weather forecasting here. It's just the nature of the challenge. And the rich get richer. If you're up the front, you get breaks, you keep moving away. Make some wrong moves, or just the luck of the draw, you end up with a bad situation. Now, coming across to Evrika, I had no idea where they were going before. We were thinking, you can see here, I mean, when they got to here, everything was looking good, and all of a sudden they just started heading over to Canada. And I was starting to think of having a bit of a joke with Jane last night, saying maybe they're making a huge navigational error. Maybe someone put a magnet or magnetized screwdriver beside the compass, and no one's done a celestial fix yet for a few days, and they think they're going to the finish, but they're not. But I look forward to catching up with Dominic later and look and say, hey, Dominic, where were you going? What were you doing out here? Because the weather was, the wind direction was allowing them to come pretty much up this way. But they just kept going. Fortunately, they've just done a 90-degree turn just about, and they're now heading back on track at 6.9 knots, and they managed 96-mile day. So we also thought at one point maybe they haven't said anything, but they want to drop someone off at the Azores here. So, no idea what should have this bigger scale. No idea what was happening here, but you can see out into oblivion, and then boom, take across when they could have been going elsewhere. Anyway, that's up to the individual. And Outlaw, again, sitting, not doing too bad over the 24-hour period, 138 miles, but this could go on for a while. So we'll have to see what goes there. And Maiden just hanging in there. This is critically important for Maiden, okay? If they want to stay in with a chance to be up there and looking at IRC overall, they cannot afford to stop or slow down in bad weather. And this is all they've got. If they fall behind on this, and we'll look at the 2-day thing, they could sit. If Spirit of Helsinki manages to lock into their bit here, it's all over. Spirit of Helsinki is already in front of them by an hour or so. That's all there is in it. And this is going to be critical now. So they're the two to watch for overall now, hence Helsinki and Maiden. And any one of them that makes a wrong move, if Spirit of Helsinki make a wrong move and open the door for Maiden to come in and catch up for an hour or so, that's it. They're in the front. So that's going to be very interesting to watch. So Maiden is 162 nautical mile day and 6 knots, not too bad. Go straight to Helsinki. They didn't do a 334 nautical mile day. That could be part of the upset there. I'm not sure, but it's anyway, forget about that. That's a glitch. They're currently doing 7.8. So 7.8 against 6, even with their rank, their IRC rating, that's making Spirit of Helsinki go faster, relatively speaking, under their IRC handicap than Maiden. So Maiden's slipping a bit behind Helsinki right now. Neptune, 5.7 knots and 214 mile day. That's not too bad. And here's our next person in line for second overall in leg 4, doing 8.2 knots with 201 miles to go. And we can easily get a pretty accurate ETA within, I shouldn't say that. We'll work out an ETA in a minute for their trip up when we look at the weather closely specifically for L'Esprit de Keep. But for now, we'll come back to an average scale here so we can see what the next 2 days is going to bring. It's probably a bit small. We might need to do 2 ends, but we'll see what this looks like going forward. It'll give us an impression anyway before we come in, and I'll then do a close look at the front pack and one back here in the middle pack, just so we can see. But it's good to see the weather systems overall, what's affecting it. And at the moment, you can see it's all very confusing. extremely confusing. Even when I say they're getting forecasts, you can see they can't do anything with the forecast because there's no real predominant system. It's just a bit of a mix on everything. So anyway, we'll forget Explorer for a minute down the back there and click this forward a couple of days. So here we go. We've got the light weather all through the middle. Evrika's doing all right, and it's getting light for L'Esprit de Keep and Helsinki, but they're all in similar gradients there. So there it is, 24 hours from now. The wind is coming over. The wind is coming over all of them, but that was still pretty quiet. So it's not going to be a fast finish with all this lot, but Maiden's got plenty of breeze. The angle will be right. They'll crack off on Port Tack, be reaching. Helsinki's got enough breeze there. L'Esprit de Keep's okay. Outlaw finally underway. And Galliana and Triana, Evrika, and that's all. They've got the headwinds coming. We spoke about this yesterday. So again, whilst the wind comes back, it's headwinds, and they're going to have to be tacking. But I think Maiden's all right here. She's right at the top of it, so she'll be up here somewhere and reach across. So there's the Outlaw. No, they'll just be up here somewhere by then. So there's the dividing line. Everything behind that line here is going to slow down relevant to these boats here. They're going to pull away. So that's day. So now we'll just focus on the second fleet down here first, and then the back fleet, and then I'll come back up and just see what's happening with the top end. So Stern is still sitting in the hole. We predicted that yesterday, and these guys, the headwinds are getting stronger. This is a solid, 30 gusting 40 here for Evrika. The sea will get up, and it'll be quite challenging. At least these guys might get just moderate headwinds rather than heavy stuff. And there we go through to the 14th. So that's 2 days in. So in 2 days, there'll probably be 300, a bit less than 300. Yeah, they're going to be down here somewhere. So Galliana and Triana, they're not going to go a big distance at all. They'll be still in this lot, struggling hard to get up there. Outlaw, probably the same. Outlaw is going to be a couple hundred, still light headwinds. So that's what's going on there. Now, oh boy, here goes the deal with, we'll just get rid of that. Hold your breath for Maiden and Helsinki here. So we're back to today's weather. At this one, I think that scale is going to be the best one to look at. Oh, I don't want that. See what goes on here. No, let's go with this. Okay, so I'm walking it through again. That's today's weather, real time now, and we'll just see what's going to happen. The thing we're looking for is the comparison between Spirit of Helsinki and Maiden weather. If Spirit of Helsinki gets better sailing breeze than Maiden, then it's all over for Maiden. And it will go the opposite way. If Maiden looks like better weather, but stronger winds to sail with, then it could be a case of catching up to Spirit of Helsinki, which she's got to do. Now, what this is showing me, okay, so that's about 12 hours. In 12 hours, Maiden, depending on it, could be up here somewhere. Spirit of Helsinki will be up here somewhere, so it's looking pretty reasonable that they're pretty much matched. I don't think you're going to see a big speed difference there. And then we'll come through to 24 hours. 24 hours here, it looks like in 24 hours, Helsinki will probably be about 180. They'll be right up here somewhere. 150, 150 maybe. And so Maiden is on 150-ish. Maiden's going to have more breeze than Helsinki here, by the look of it. She'll come roaring along this lot here, and that looks pretty solid compared to Helsinki, which is here, right? It's a bit softer. You can see the blue there. So I probably won't be right. I'm not usually right, but it's looking like Maiden may have an opportunity to close the gap just a little bit. She doesn't need much, but going to have a bit more breeze by the look of it. May be wrong. Let's see. So anyway, there's day one, and then day two. You push this through. Okay. Oh, well, it's really hard to say. They're both going to get hammered here. There's Maiden's going to be up here, so they're going to park. Helsinki. Helsinki's going to have better breeze here, and may, if it gets a good current, because there's currents in here, may get a lift to cancel out the benefit that Maiden might have had there in the breeze. It's really hard to say. They're both going to go slow here. Still not quite. There it is. There's 24 hours. Boy, it's pretty evenly matched. I couldn't call it, but if anything, I'd say it's going to be very hard for Maiden to catch up. I can't see Helsinki streaming away, but it's going to be hard for Maiden to catch up. And Neptune's in there, and the Spirit of Keep as well. I'm having trouble concentrating. I need to be multitasking here. We're going to focus on the Spirit of Keep to come up with an ETA. So we're just looking here. She's got 200 miles to go, and she's currently doing 6 knots. So let's just see what the weather's saying for the next 24 hours. Not fast at all. So that 200 miles is going to take a day and a half at least. So here comes the 13th. So we're a day and a half there. Got a nice breeze there to keep it going. The 14th, it's off again. Really light. Could be 2 days. So first impression is that it's going to be very slow going. Could be 100-mile days. So today is Friday morning, Saturday morning, Sunday morning. Would it be 2 days? Sunday morning could be another nighttime arrival somewhere very early hours of Sunday morning. I'll just, for the Spirit of Keep, we'll just put her right there at the moment. So halfway, boom, boom, straight off breast. And we'll go and check out Windy and just see what the current things are doing as well. We come across here now for, I go across here from Windy. Okay, you've got Windy and I've got Windy, and we need to bang this up a bit here. Other way around. Okay. So at the moment, you can see I've got some tricky numbers on here. See if you can guess what they are. These numbers here. Anyway, so off breast and just down from there. So at the moment, just a quick guess. This is about where the Spirit of Keep is right now, and this is current real-time weather. And if we push that forward, you can see it's going quiet. So let's go 24 hours forward. It's around about there. So they had that 13. It's going to be about the same. So they'll probably be doing the 6 knots and so on right through. Let's just see what Saturday. Oh, it fills in. Okay, so in the afternoon. So yes, it's going to be another nighttime arrival. So I reckon. So it's Friday morning, Saturday morning, and then sometime about midnight or whatever again, I reckon, if that holds through to Friday morning, Saturday morning, yeah, it's pretty much holding through there. So this is for about midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning on the 12th, 13th, 14th. Oh, no, this is early 14th. Yeah, that's the Sunday. Right, Saturday, Sunday, somewhere in there. And if we look at currents, I've got to now find the currents here. Oh, I need to get extras. Where are they? Cheapest. Cheapest I came across for the currents, and it does a summary there. Jeepers. Come on, where's the... hang on. I've lost it here. They've still coming to terms with the new format. So temperature, clouds, search. We don't want that. Okay. It's not cheapest. Sorry, everybody. I'm not actually seeing familiar stuff there now. And I forget which is the best way. My favorites, no. Hurricane distant planning. I can't get into... I haven't had a play with this new format, and I didn't have a chance yesterday, and now I don't know how to get into the currents. Bugger. Okay, we'll leave that for tomorrow. I don't want to leave you bored here. I've mucked up there, but I'll have a play with that later. So we'll go back to the tracker and look at the leaderboard, and I'll explain what's happening there. You've got the tracker. Now I'm on the tracker. Here we go. Line honours. You can see what's going on there. We'll go IRC for leg 4. So Penjuic is already in, 14 days, 14 hours. The Spirit of Keep is pretty much holding the same position. So they're coming second. Then Neptune is 5, 6, 7, a couple of days behind. And so it goes down the line. So there's not a lot of excitement there. But here comes the big eye-opener. This is where it's changed a lot. And there's a lot at stake here for both Spirit of Helsinki and Maiden. So we come down here, and there it is. So Triana is still leading, but Helsinki is boring down on them super fast because they're going nowhere. You can see their average speeds dropped right back now because they're literally hardly moving. And Helsinki is only 3 hours behind Triana, so they're going to pass Triana. Maiden is next, and that's interesting. Maiden's slipped back a few hours since the last report. So Helsinki are really ramming it home right now. They were a lot closer than that in the last report. So now they're 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 4 hours. So there's a 4-hour gap between Spirit of Helsinki and Maiden. And then here's Penjuik. So Penjuik is now 3 hours behind Maiden. So that was the end of their chance. We thought that the way it was working out, that if Helsinki and Maiden slowed down with that calm patch coming, it may all change. And it could. I mean, it can't because we've seen what the weather forecast is. But if they had stopped and slowed, then they might not have got through it. But they've been sailing really well. So now, if we come back to L'Esprit de Keep, 186 days, they're basically out of the game. So this is where the action is now. Triana is going to lose it. And so it's coming back to keep this a simple explanation. Spirit of Helsinki is looking at the possibility of taking out the IRC overall results for all 4 legs, and Maiden is sitting right on the, within striking distance, and it'll all depend on what happens in the next few days. So it's not over yet, but Helsinki's looking okay. And the weather seems to balance for me. I'm not seeing any big weather changes, so it'll be down to sailing performance. But let's wait and see. Anyway, that's enough of that. We'll come back here and say good day to everyone. Gwen, click all and choose currents. Too late. We'll have a look tomorrow. Thanks. They changed it all the day before yesterday or something, and I haven't had a chance to see what's going on. Anyway, let's just see what's going on. Hi, Dr. Big thank you to you, Jane Jada, and all your team for filming and bringing us lives. Yeah, we had thank you very much, Mary. We had a real problem with audio. The story is unbelievable. We have, about 4 sets of mics. We have a primary set of Rode mics, which are the little black square ones, which we've been using really well. And just as we were about to get in the car to drive to the UK, Jane was charging, and it basically nearly caught fire. It just had a complete meltdown. And it's another example of why you should never leave things charging in your house or the office without anyone being in attendance, because it was being recharged in the bedroom. Jane was on the bed. She kept saying, I'm smelling something burning. And we thought it was some new furniture we put in, some shelving and stuff, because we're moving the office there. And it turned out that the whole microphone, the transmitting part of the microphone, the little square black box, was in meltdown. It didn't quite get to flaming, but it was in meltdown. So then we didn't have time to order a new one. We've got some other backup ones, and there was something that happened last night where the batteries were fading quickly, and for whatever reason, the first live we did was okay. The second one was average, and then by the time we got to the end with Ada's interview of Marie, it was the mic had completely stuffed up, which was very disappointing. But there you go. So that's it. But yeah, thanks, Marie. It's a lot of fun for us to do. By the way, when we're out there, Ada and I and Jane, like Rob was filming the doco, Georgie was doing the technical, Jack was on the doco looking after the thing, Ada and I were doing the commentary, and Jane's doing the camera work. But it's just a lot of fun for us. We just go out and just sort of, we get the fun and we just sharing it with you. So it's all kind of cool. And it's sure good to have Ada back helping us as well. So it was all good fun. Yeah, good fun. Kathleen, morning, Kathleen. Good to see. The microphones were good in the beginning, but anyway, we'll sort it because Ada's got a set of DJI microphones, and we'll be using them now. We're going to borrow them, and we'll use those as our number one because we couldn't get a replacement quick enough. Okay, was Penjuik 6 flying? All expected flares coming? No, it's okay. We're sorting it out now, so didn't have them all on the way in. And they've got some dispensations as well because of the historic nature of their boat. But anyway, all cool. It was fun. Thanks, Andrew. Oh, we're going to catch up. We will do. Mike Phillips, hi. Let's go, Rob. Judy Lynn is Triana has been stuck for several hours and is close to the island of Santa Maria. What is the time penalty she would incur if she were to be resupplied with food by boat? She's out of the race, so it's not going to happen. They'll start scraping barnacles off the hull and boil them up and make a seafood chowder, something like that, rather than stop. There's no way they'll do that. They'll keep rationing it back, and they tell us they're on a bowl of soup and flying fish each day. That's to let you know that they're rationing food. Now, it could be worse than that, or it might not be as bad as that, and they're having a bit of fun. But nonetheless, they're short of food, right? We've seen this before in the Gold Globe race. One of the entrants, Uku, on a Russell 36, he was running out of food when he got to Hobart, halfway around the world, and he'd lost a lot of weight. And he really struggled to get to the end and lost a huge amount of weight by the time he got back to Les Sables d'Olonne. He just forgot to load enough food on board. And Ada was his manager. But it's not her fault. She thought at the time when they loaded the boat, it was all done in a rush. She said, doesn't seem like a lot of food. And tried to get Uku to load up another trolley of food. But he said, she'll be right. And he got very low. So anyway, thanks for the broadcast. Thanks, Robert. It was great to assist in live at the finish with Marie. Yeah, it was good fun. After Don, the daily run distance and ollies happen every time as the boat gets close to passes the bend and the run line from Cape Town onwards. Must be an issue with it too. Yeah, there's little glitches in there, and it's always hard to, we pick their run line, the red one. That's where the distance is taken from, and it's hard to balance it up. But if everyone accepts that occasionally we get glitches and none of the finish times and all that sort of stuff are official until they're checked, we're okay, and we're very grateful for Yellow Brick. They do a lot for us, and they don't charge us. Basically, we use that. We've also got the backup. All the data goes onto the Bayonet tracker, the Bayonet platform, which I'll get into because it's the big advantage of the Bayonet platform is it's also an historic reserve of all the media, so you can get on there one platform and hit the bit. So I'll get into this maybe tomorrow. I'll do another run through of the Bayonet platform and show you how it's fantastic just to cruise. You want to see something, you go back to another leg, you can hit it, you can see historic weather on that day, you can see what they were talking about on the SoundClouds, you can replay the videos all from the Bayonet platform. It's pretty good. So they've been a great help with that, and I know quite a few people are enjoying that platform as well. Okay. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, what's going on here? Okay. I'm just getting stuck with my thing. And thanks, Anne. Yeah, Gwen, Christine, hi. Warren, I'm looking for questions. Who's going to take leg 4 IRC in adventure class? Could be any of the 3. Yeah, exactly. But not Explorer. Anyway, thank you, Ada. I'm not sure what brought that on. But anyway, thanks for the pics and stuff. Ada's taking pictures all the time as she's doing commentaries and stuff. And I can't take pictures because I'm driving and so it goes, but it all works well. And our rib is a great rib. Mona's a fantastic rib. It's a big Highfield, which we bought. It's so they're not sponsoring us, but it's a Highfield rib, and it's just so smooth. When we're using all the other ribs in the other ports, they're all cool, but cheapest when you get back into your own boat, you realise how good that one is. It's fantastic. Donna, was actually his wife who asked me to make him lose some. Talking about Uku. Don, this was because Ada was Uku's manager in the Golden Globe race. He came second in the race, I think it was at the time, 2018. Actually, his wife, who asked me to make him lose some kilograms. He was looking great when he arrived on the podium and looking so for. Okay. He was looking great, yes, but he was looking very skinny. Anyway, will the other boats be aware Marie has finished? I think they probably will because they were all chatting on the radio, but we will. We have a situation where anyone that withdraws from the race or as they finish, we send the fleet a message as well. Okay, I think that's it. So thanks for that. We'll see you tomorrow. And actually, I'll see this one. I'll give you a quiz here. Hang on, I'm going to call back up Windy. So if I get on to get Windy, I've got to go here. Probably shouldn't talk about this, but anyway, it's a really interesting thing. Especially when I haven't got all the other bits there. So you're looking at Windy, I'm looking at Windy. See all those little numbers around here? Have you worked out what they are? I'll leave them there until tomorrow, and you can see it's something that you can get everything on Windy, and you can even get these numbers. for all of Europe and everywhere else that you might be interested in what those numbers are. Okay, I'm coming back here to click that one, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.